Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live on a Thursday night. Friday Junior's in full effect, and we are ready to go. We are the Wrestling for Life Network. Thank you for being here with us. We got TNA Impact on tap tonight. It's going to be a fun one, folks. We got lots to talk about, lots to get into from around the wrestling world, and we got a whole lot of Impact action tonight. Me and that pretty face got you for the next little while, so strap in, strap on, grab your snacks, grab your feel good. Let's go. Ding, ding, ding. We are live and back at it again, folks. Like I said, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. This is another live stream and the channel that just covers more live wrestling than anyone else out there. Ready for TNA Impact tonight. Again, I hope everyone out there is doing well, happy, healthy, and safe. Welcome back to the channel. Get in that chat, say hello, click like, click share, click subscribe. Be a part of the family. Be a part of the fastest growing wrestling channel out there. And get ready for some TNA Impact tonight. It's going to be a fun one. Lots going on this card, but I will remind everybody out there, I am Mr. Every Night KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube, and that is Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its YouTube tag stream champions of the world, the Every Night Delight KJ White. I am Big Nick, and yes, tonight we've got Jordan Grace taking on Tasha Steelz in a Knockouts Women's Championship match. We've also got a Mustafa Ali Rebellion referendum, so we're naming a number one contender for the X Division here. And we've also got GYV taking on the Time Splitters.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting. Also, we're going to hear from Nick Nemeth, and I believe PCO is taking on Crazy Steve. So
yes, the Digital Media Championship, and we've also we have the system in action here. Well, we've got the third match from Ash by Elegance.
Ash by Elegance back in effect tonight. We'll see how that goes as she continues to roll through her new booking, her new attitude, her new gimmick all around. We'll see if it can pick up some momentum here.
Hey, we wanted Dana Brooke to initially go to TNA when she was future endeavored from WWE. So we got what we wanted, so we might as well embrace it.
Might as well get into it. And again, I want to give her a chance. I mean, there is good parts to this. I want to see, it will come down to how she performs in the ring. Her heater that she's been utilizing has been outstanding. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what tonight brings. Again, Impact's been fun. Impact's been consistent. Heading towards Rebellion next week. All these rapid fire shows that we're getting from Impact, and we haven't even got to Slammiversary yet.
Yeah, but well, speaking of Slammiversary, there might be two people who are Impact alumni, Impact Hall of Famers that may not make it to Slammiversary. Do we want to talk about Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin that have now, Shelley, I believe, filed for the trademark of MCMG and all of that. So there's now the talks of Impact's offering per appearance deals or per show deals versus an actual long-term deal, which they just signed Hammerstone to a long-term deal. What do you buy into all of this?
Very interesting. We knew, we speculated when the whole Scott D'Amore saga took place and started happening that maybe there would be some fallout. Maybe they would not be so fortunate as keeping all the talent they wanted to keep. But I do think that MCMG has been the heart and soul of this company for a long time. And in the particular recent, memory, they have been so much world champion, X Division champion, tag team champions. It will be a big loss for them. But I'm really curious. I mean, they're owning their own rights, doing the per appearance. I mean, that's a risky game because you are allowing them to maybe be picked up and taken away from them.
But do you believe that they're actually doing that after they just signed Hammerstone to a long-term deal? Now, granted, it could be Motor City is going to require a much heftier probably contract than potentially Hammerstone would.
Maybe.
So could it be more cost cutting? Could it be? I've thought about if Motor City went to WWE, if they went to AEW, I think WWE might be the more option.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that, so that's very interesting.
Yeah, but well, do you disagree?
Well, I just wonder because the WWE trips me out sometimes. Sometimes when people are later in their career, they kind of shy away from them. Now, MCMG could do a lot of things, but would they be the type of talent that makes a pit stop in NXT, does a little run to let everybody know who they are, then goes to the main roster? Or, could they benefit and really use them on that main roster to help a tag team division that hasn't been overly impressive?
Well, that's the thing, is I'm wondering, could they go right into the tag team division? NXT would be interesting because, I mean, well, Shelley's teaming with Kushida tonight, who was in NXT, so he's going to have firsthand knowledge of what it's like there. Granted, it was under Vince. It was under Vince. So, but they could go over there. It's one of those, to me, though, with TNA, of you can't let them get away because they are so much the lifeblood, the heart and soul of TNA.
Mhm.
Could this be of, we'll let you own copyrights and everything like that, so you make 100% off of licensing, merch, what have you?
Yeah.
Of, we can't offer you what they'll offer you money-wise, so we'll give you this to circumvent it.
Yeah, I think a possibility, and I think that actually makes a lot of sense, Nick, of like, we knew Scott was going hard and heavy in the paint, going back into TNA and offering a lot of contracts, getting Nick in, getting Mustafa in. We've seen Hammerstone come around. So yeah, maybe that's the trade-off. Listen, you can go take all the bookings you want. You own the rights to your own shit, and we'll pay you less when you do show up here.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, the contract might be a little less, but you get all the merchandising.
So now, I mean, also I do see a fit with the style of Motor City Machine Guns, and if AEW can get their shit together as far as the tag team division goes, they'd be an awesome complement. I mean, a lot of people I've seen online of like MCMG, Young Bucks, Dream Match. Again, more than just, we got to stop trying to sign people for a dream match. We need to bring them in with purpose. But I really do think that if there was a tag team division, they would be a very good fit for AEW as well. High flying, fast moving.
They would fit in there, but I feel like they would unfortunately potentially get lost in the shuffle, as I do see the chat. But yeah, it's, to me, the return on investment when it comes to AEW, because I mean, we could get into the whole discussion of the ratings are out and it's 800,000. I know you were here live last night for Dynamite and Rampage back to back. So 800,000, no real jump up from the week before.
Do you
But
remember? Sorry to interrupt there, but do you remember? So we started doing this, and we were always looking around around 1 million. We had the nights with CM Punk and stuff back in the day, and we were 1.1, and they were kind of braggadocious. You had the Demo God. We haven't heard about the Demo God in a long, long time because now he's more of a demo pariah. We called him the Demo Murderer last night. Ted Bundy of ratings because he just murders them all.
Right.
But it was around 1 mil. Then it was 900,000. Oh, no, we did 920. It's a good night. 900. Now we're 8. Now that seems like they're plateauing in the wrong direction.
But we don't want to acknowledge that. And that's the scariest thing with this, is that we don't want to acknowledge that there's an issue. It's your hemorrhaging ratings. And I know it's so funny because you look at some people that will, in the same breath, don't give a shit about the ratings, but at the same breath, point out ratings on other, shows and promotions and everything.
Yeah.
So if you're going to hold your standard to this, if this is the only thing that we have as a true litmus test outside of Twitter opinions of ratings, you're going in the wrong direction, and you want to seem to keep making excuses and reasoning as to why that's a good thing somehow.
Yeah, and I mean, again, people choose to argue when like I said, when the ratings were doing well, or you were having these big segments, you had the Demo God, and you had, what happened to the Undertaker and John Cena getting less than this. Like, you can't pick and choose when the analytics matter. And for me, the analytics are important because we know, generally we have an idea, and you want to talk about the cable cutting or the wire cutting generation, fine, that's facts. But we know we can get up to 3.5 million viewers to watch wrestling on a given night. We've seen it on in other companies. We know those fans are out there. We know AEW has been around 1 million. So if you are just basing AEW against AEW, they are failing to themselves year over year, month over month, they are declining. Like, ignore WWE, ignore everyone else. They are declining, and in complete what? Just gradually more and more people are giving up on the show. But you have to be honest about it. You announced that Mercedes was going to be there a week in advance. You announced an I Quit match a week in advance. We knew Okada was going to be there, and it's not helping. Ospreay not helping.
Oh, well, so that's the thing, is I think certain numbers lie within the bigger number and everything. Because I was also going to say, to me, I think Ospreay, and that's why I mentioned with Motor City Machine Guns return on investment. To me, Ospreay is your best return on investment if you're Tony Khan. He's, I think, one of the best big free agent signings that you've had. He's going to move the needle. He's drawing more attention than Mercedes and Okada, potentially even combined.
Yeah,
so
I would agree.
100%. It's you hit one home run for every 3 at bats. So I mean, you're not a terrible batting average, but you're not nailing it out of the park.
Yes, and if you're going to bring in a talent like Ospreay, you got to put him in something significant, and you got to make him the poster boy. Like, you have Tony Khan saying, "Well, Mercedes is the face of AEW." Well, I don't know. This guy over here seems like he might be your face.
Well, him with Danielson, I think, is prominent. But is Tony heel now because he's backstage there in Gorilla and everything with the Young Bucks and
With the
everything? It's still
Buckaroo.
just like completely fine with them, and perfect.
Absolutely. We're going to quickly say hello to the chat, and then we're going to say hello to another friend, a very important friend. But Damien, we see Eric. Welcome back, Joe. Robert is in the house. I saw some funny comments, and I know this conversation is going to continue about MCMG. Mike's with us. Good to see you. Bama Beard, Jason. Love the comment. Thank you so much. I'll give that a star. Trent is with us tonight. Robert Cortez, as always. Good to see you. Clay, welcome back. MK Osborne, Robert, gotcha, Jason. But with all that being said, I am going to trade. I'm gonna slide out and let someone in. But the chapeau that runs the show, ladies and gentlemen, ringside in.
What is up?
What up, my guy?
How you doing?
I'm good. How you feeling as we're about a minute away from TNA kicking off? And I will remind everybody that's in the chat and everything, we do watch it on YouTube under their membership thing and everything, which we do have our own membership, but we watch it under that so we can watch it. We watch it a half hour late, but we also get no commercials and everything like that. So no spoilers, but that's how we watch it.
Right. I'm feeling good. The card is looking pretty good tonight. We got the Knockouts title match. We got the digital media title on the line. We're hearing from Nick Nemeth what happened last week when he was attacked by the system. So Ash by Elegance is having her 3rd match. So I think we got a pretty decent card tonight for an episode of TNA Impact.
Oh, absolutely. Now, do you foresee any title changes here?
I don't foresee the Knockouts title changing. The digital media title has a good opportunity of switching hands tonight.
Really? So it would go to PCO here.
Yeah, I think it would go to PCO here tonight. I won't be upset, if he doesn't win, but I think there's a better chance of PCO winning than Tasha Steelz winning.
Fair. So I'll ask you this, as I've got the intro video going off right now, as it's bringing up last week to where Chris Sabin couldn't pull out the victory on Mustafa Ali. How do you feel? What do you think? What's your feelings? What's your reactions on the whole news about the potential of Motor City Machine Guns leaving TNA? Their contract may be up by the end of the month. They're now getting their own trademarks. It might be a per deal basis or per appearance basis. What do you think?
I was pleasantly shocked, I guess, to see that they could potentially be out the door in TNA. I don't know how true the per appearance deal is. I don't really buy into that, but I do buy into Motor City Machine Gun stepping away from TNA. And I don't know if that's because of Anthony Ciccone, the new form of management, but I could definitely see them Motor City Machine Gun stepping away from TNA.
Now, where would you see them going if they do step away?
I don't know if I could see them in WWE or AEW. I feel like they would just run the independent scene, to be honest.
They do that already.
and they do that already, and I hear you make a significant amount of money on the indie scene as well. But if you're gonna ask where they could potentially go, I would see them going to help the tag team division in WWE. It's heating up, most definitely, but to have some very, very strong veterans there that have been around for a very long time, I think that'd be great for WWE.
Well, there was the rumor of the Hardys showing up for the WWE Tag Division. Could instead it be the Motor City Machine Guns here?
I would rather be the Motor City Machine Guns.
I agree. I agree.
They can still go in the ring. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, Richard says the trademarks signify them leaving. I mentioned before you got here, sir, about the idea of if that might be a compensation for we can't match what you probably or would get from a Tony Khan or a WWE or anything, but we'll give you all of your trademark rights and everything. So now anytime you are on the independent scene or anything, anytime you do this or that, you retain 100% everything from it.
Yeah, and I think that's a good deal. If you can't match what these bigger companies are paying, at least give them the rights. I think that's perfect. It would be sad in a way to see the Motor City Machine Guns go. They've been there a very, very long time, but they're also great wrestlers. And a lot of people that don't even watch TNA on a regular know who the Motor City Machine Guns is. So I think they'll be fine either way or route they go.
Oh yeah, because they go back to the AJ Styles, the Samoa Joe era and everything.
Right.
We do have the rebellion referendum right now with Mustafa Ali kicking off as we've got Leon Slater. So according to Damien, this is a fatal 4-way. I don't know how many people are in the match, who's in the match. Last I knew it was a match. But who do you think could be the next number one contender for Mustafa Ali?
There's a lot out there. It could be Kevin Knight. I would love for it to be Kevin Knight. I mean, Kevin Knight is fantastic. Leon Slater is new. He signed last summer, so I think this is like really his first appearance on Impact Television, so it could be him. But I'm gonna go with Kevin Knight if he's in this match. If he's
I was gonna say, now it's getting down
to
asking you before you even know who's in the match, because I agree with you on Kevin Knight, but I don't know if he's in this match because right now I got Chris Bay coming out.
And I don't even know like how many people. I know Damien said fatal 4-way. I heard it was a 6-pack type challenge match. I don't know.
It could be a battle Royal Rumble for all I know.
Exactly.
Motor City Machine Guns probably wants that last big contract. WWE or AW offer it. Valid. That's actually pretty valid.
Has the Motor City Machine Guns ever appeared on AEW television? I'm not
I want to say so. I feel
okay.
Lee Shelley has.
Okay.
I feel you're more apt to say that they probably have than not. Like when it comes to WWE, I think maybe Sabin or like both of them had like dark matches or like a velocity match or something. But as far as a prominent like feature, I would say it's different.
Okay.
So Chris Bay comes out, and now we've got the good hands coming out telling all the good Canadians they can shut their mouths. Chris, what up? Roddy, what up? Robert, what up? Kevin Knight is like Kushida with glasses. Maybe it's his protege, right? Hey. Could be.
Oh, the good hands just continue to ramble here.
How do you feel?
Kevin Knight, there he goes.
Oh. All right. He's got to win this now.
Yeah.
We've been sold. If there's a guy that's going to be a future TNA world champion right now, it's Kevin Knight.
After what we saw, what he did in the ring with Moose just a couple of weeks ago, like push that man to the moon, give him that world title as soon as possible.
Man is showing he can hang with the top guys in TNA.
Right. Oh, he said, get in there and show me why you're worthy.
Yeah, so we got 3 of the 4 so far.
Yeah, it looks like the last one is a Jake something.
Now, I know we've had like Samoa and Joseph and everything as X Division champions.
Yeah.
Does Jake something scream X Division when you look at this guy?
I mean, no, but if they're still going by the old tagline, it's not about weight limits, it's about no limits. I guess you put Jake something in that category of no limits. So, but no, he does not scream X Division, but he has been very vocal on social media about wanting the X Division championship.
There you go. Holy shit, I forgot Alan Angels was even in this match that even came out.
So it looks like it is 6-pack. Yeah, 6-pack.
Yeah. Because so we've got Jake something, one half of the Good Hands, Chris Bay, Leon Slater, Kevin Knight, and Alan Angels here.
Yeah. And Kevin Knight already flying across the ring.
Only way to win this, folks, is by pinfall or submission. So let us know who you're taking, folks. I just rattled off everybody. I'm not going to try and do it again.
No disqualifications, pinfall submission.
Right. Jesse, what up? Wesley, what up? I think the Time Splitters appeared in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic match.
I think you might be right.
Oh, the Dusty Classic? Well, Kushida was in NXT for a hot minute. Oh, yeah, because you're saying with Shelly. I was thinking of Kushida. Yeah, fair enough. But so I think we're both in agreement. We have Kevin Knight picking up the win here.
Oh, yeah. If there's anybody else, I'm picking Jake something, but I think it's Kevin Knight.
Ooh. If I had to pick someone outside of Kevin Knight, I'm between Chris Bay and Leon Slater. Leon Slater just because he's the newest guy on the block. So you put him in there with Mustafa Ali, you kind of show that he's up on that level a little bit. And then even if he loses, at least kind of halfway elevated him.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a nasty German suplex.
Oh,
nasty German suplex.
Roll through. But so I was going to ask you, how do you feel about the Mustafa Ali politician gimmick and everything like that? So where, this is, very much a referendum that, he has, inauguration ceremonies and shit like that. Like, how do you feel?
I like it. I like it. It's the perfect timing with, if you live in the United States, the US election. I feel like it's playing off of that a little bit. Him going to other independent promotions, like basically bringing that same persona with him. I love it. I think this might have been something he wanted to do in the WWE, but they just didn't want him to do that. And this fits his build, this fits his personality. The way he talks is presidential. I think it's perfect for him.
Oh yeah, I think they started it towards the end of his run in WWE before they released him, but like his whole independent tour being announced as a campaign tour, I think works perfectly.
Yeah, it fits him well, and I don't know. He still hasn't signed with TNA, so going back to your thing about the per appearance deal, it might be a little true. But if he sticks around for a minute, I definitely can see him being world champion, and by the end of the year, maybe next year if he sticks around.
Now, but do you think that's a bit of a gamble with going off of saying that he hasn't signed his Kevin Knight rose through a double back body drop? If you're having a guy as your X Division champion and he's not signed to a deal, like, is that you're playing a dangerous game here? He could get snatched up at any moment, like you said, with the per appearance deals. If that's what you had Motor City Machine Guns on, you could literally have them show up on a Monday Night Raw and then show up still have a match on Thursday at the same time.
Yeah, you're playing a dangerous game there. Especially if you're giving somebody the championship, because they can technically show up on another televised wrestling show with that championship in hand. So it's a dangerous game TNA is playing here if that's the route they are going on right now.
Right. But so Wesley's taking Kevin Knight.
Kevin Knight.
Let's go, folks. Let's DDT that like button for Wrestling for All. Absolutely. We just passed, 4K subscribers. We're still,
Yes, we did.
We're tippy toeing here by 4.1K, by WrestleMania here. So let's see if we can hit that. Let me refresh our stream so I can get an accurate like count. I see 37 likes and 44 people watching us right now. So let's see if we can balance out that algorithm like a seesaw. Luke is saying, where's KG? He's on a pause for the cause, my guy. He's here damn near every night. So. Man can take a breath once in a while. Symphony, what up? EQ, what up? Yo, Nick, what's your favorite WWE faction? I'll answer that in a minute. But so we've got a picture-in-picture. We've got Mustafa's reaction on what's going on in the ring right now.
We got Alan Angels like on Jake something's shoulders. We got Leon Slater and Kevin Knight super kicking him. Like, I don't know.
Jake something to me is the guy who would work perfectly in like a faction with like Hercules from like the 80s WWE era. Same with like Berserker and everything. Like he's just like this muscle guy, and that's what he is. He's muscle. And
exactly.
His last name is literally something. We couldn't figure out a fucking last name for this guy besides something. Someone hit the start button too fast to the create a wrestler mode and couldn't figure out anything besides something. Couldn't be bothered to go back and edit
it. No, I agree with you. Man definitely belongs in some type of old faction.
He's a big beefy boy slapping meat. Pause.
Right. Oh, we got Leon Slater and Kevin Knight.
I think you're watching the future of your X division right there.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, sits out into like a power bomb right there. That's pretty clean there. Of like caught him and then falls back and sits through it there.
Yeah. I mean, all of these guys are proving it tonight.
Stevens cracked the code here. He's just going to be out there with Cody Rhodes because he's that part of the something Cody Rhodes. You've cracked the case, Steven. You've cracked it.
Man, I can't even keep up. Everything is just going by so fast. Oh, Chris Bay with that DDT.
Now, when it comes to matches like this, when it's a multi-man match, do you prefer, and I'll ask the chat, do you prefer one pinfall to win it all or an elimination? As we're getting TNA chance.
I've never been asked that question before.
Well, now you have, so time to answer.
I guess for me, I kind of just go with the flow, but thinking about it, an elimination might be better. Elimination style match might be better. But when a match like this and you got a bunch of high flyers in there, I like the momentum to stay the same throughout the entirety of the match, and that's kind of what's happening here. I would rather it stay this way than to slow down as each competitor is eliminated.
But you theoretically don't have to, because to me, when you have a multi-person match like this, and it's especially when you get to this many, and it's not elimination, you have a bunch of people that are just standing out at ringside, kind of just watching.
No, that's true. Especially going to live shows, because I've been to live shows where there's multi-man matches, and a lot of the wrestlers are just, kind of laying around.
They might as well be signing autographs, taking pictures.
Exactly. So in that perspective, you might be right. You might be right.
Brandon, what up? Yeah, versus Yeet, LA Knight versus JOSO, who wins? You're asking all the questions for commercial breaks when we don't have commercial breaks. Oh, holy shit!
Over the turnbuckle.
Literally,
Leon
Slater just went clean. Like no leapfrog, no bouncy trampoline, no nothing. Just straight clean, and as official as a referee whistle over top of Jake something, even laid out over the top turnbuckle, and just twisting splashed into everybody on the outside.
Like at this point, I don't know what I'm watching. Like
you're watching
am I watching Circus? What is it? Circus Del Rey or Circus that thing where they're on the
Afro Circus.
yes, that
Cirque du Soleil. But no,
yes,
but
that's what it
actually
is.
worked perfectly
Because I'm like,
that's
what is
some shit
this?
you've never seen.
Exactly. Man.
Vance, what up?
Ooh, what a forearm by Jake something.
All right. Setting up a
I feel like that power bomb
big
took
power
right
bomb.
out. What's up, Vance?
How about the last entry for the ladder match for debut of Motor City Machine Gun? Could happen, but I think you'd have to add an extra participant because I think we've got 2 matches tomorrow night on SmackDown that'll, solidify who's in there.
We were both wrong.
Well, no, you were half right. You were half right. You get
but...
half a point. I get no points, and I feel like most of the chat gets no points. So Jake something picks up the win after a fucking spin out power bomb for a 1-2-3.
And Mustafa Ali looks a little afraid.
Well, yeah, that's a big motherfucker coming down.
That's a big dude.
Down. The man is 3 times the size of everyone else. Yeah, he's the fucking Liver King out here, just wrestling in TNA out here, coming down for the X Division title.
Wow. Jake down here is asking, did I enjoy Rampage and Dynamite last night? I did not watch Rampage. I thought Dynamite was pretty good. I just watched Rampage up until the end of the what is it?
The I Quit match. So everyone
I Quit match.
Did Copeland actually win on Dynamite, or did he win on Rampage?
I guess he won on Rampage, but I really enjoyed Dynamite. It was solid. I still think they need some better storylines, but I don't watch Rampage. The last time I watched Rampage was the first time I watched Rampage when CM Punk debuted. So that's a long time ago.
There you go. What in the fuck is? So we've got Dirty Dango, and this is again like if you just let the computer do universe mode of I feel like how these fuckers are all together, because none of them make sense, none of them work together. Maybe Dango and Kozlov, which Kozlov still he looks like an extra in the fucking Dijak movie that's going on in NXT. He looks like he should be in a tag team with Dijak.
Right. And then Dirty Dango, I don't even know half the time what he's even talking about. I don't.
He's just going on above and beyond here.
Right.
But, well, speaking of Dynamite, there was parts of it I liked. It feels like a tale of two halves with that show. I wanted to bring up something that I feel I noticed on the rewatch, and I don't know if anybody else caught it or whatever, and if I'm just out to lunch with this theory and I just missed the man. I feel like Adam Cole is starting to very much turn into MJF, especially when he's telling Wardlow, don't screw it up, because that's very much an MJF line from when they were together with the Pinnacle and when Wardlow was his, right-hand man and everything. So I feel like, now granted, Wardlow is the worst case of, well, see, we can make a star out of you in AEW. We'll push you and then draw you back. We'll push you and draw you back.
Right.
I feel like the only redeeming thing so far that we're getting with the Undisputed Kingdom is I think Adam Cole's slowly turning into MJF.
You might be right there, but I don't see Adam Cole being relevant. I'm sorry. I don't think
he's trying to make it work. Okay, I'm trying to make it work. I'm trying to give them an out.
I thought he was relevant with MJF. They revealed him as being the devil, and then it just fell flat for me, and it just hasn't been good since. And I don't know how to feel about Adam Cole, honestly. I think that's where I am.
You're not wrong. That's the thing, is I'm trying to give them an escape hatch and just try to make it work and just try to, because that's the thing is you constantly build up Wardlow. even have him call out of how I had the rocket strapped to me and it didn't go off or whatever, and then you turn around and have him lose to Joe. Like, there's nothing cooking in AEW, I feel. Well, there's some things, and there's some things that they're trying to constantly, sell with over a hot plate that just aren't selling.
No, absolutely. And I think that's just the biggest struggle with AEW right now. Is just finding something that clicks with a lot of the wrestling fans. I've seen a lot of people, top streamers, like stop watching AEW, and I don't know really what they can do to kind of fix the rut that they're in. But I feel like the only people that are saying AEW is at the top of its game is the AEW, diehards and the AEW faithfuls. Which
it has good aspects to it.
Yeah, it does.
They don't lean into them as well or as properly as they should. Speaking of things you shouldn't lean into, we've got Top Dollar and Rich Swann backstage right now. But like, Will Ospreay is the best free agent of recent memory that WWE or that AEW has signed. He's the best return on investment. Swerve Strickland is over like Rover. I like the whole situation we're setting up with Tony Storm, Deonna Purrazzo, and Thunder Rosa, because Thunder never lost the title. There's aspects there, but then again, for every good thing that they do like 3 bad things. So it just takes everything to fuck away.
No, you're definitely right there. I agree with everything you said. I also feel like, and this is not taking anything away from the women, I feel like the stories are now more centered around the women, which is not a bad thing, because AEW needed some help with the women's division. But I feel like if you're going to have a stable show, both divisions need to have some solid storylines. And I feel like the women's division right now has the most solid storylines. Within 2 weeks of Mercedes Moné being there, we might not like that she might be facing the TBS champion down the line, but
you think that's a solid storyline?
I don't think it's a solid storyline, but it's a storyline being made. You got Mercedes Moné.
They make a lot of storylines.
Right, you got
Mercedes
Moné versus
doesn't mean
Willow.
that half the shit ain't
you
effective.
Got Mercedes Moné versus the TBS champion. I mean, there's 2 things going on.
She doesn't know
right
who
there.
the TBS champion is. We saw that in a fucking promo to where she fucked that up. As along with everything else, she fucked up in her promo. Like, she's not she's not great on the mic. And only keep focusing on the mic. Is, by the way, we have friend of the channel, Diener, on the mic right now. But yes, no.
I'm saying I think people are being a little bit too critical for somebody that hasn't been in the ring in almost a year. I mean, I don't know.
She couldn't explain her own injury. How the fuck you get hurt and you can't tell us how you got hurt?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I give a lot of people leeway when they've been injured.
You're asking the wrong person.
I do.
I'm not a Mercedes fan. I was not a Sasha
fan. I can clearly tell.
Say something about Eddie Kingston. We'll shift the fucking tide here. But yeah, as by the way, we have Diener right now. Oh, we got the Grizzly Young Vets coming out.
The Grizzly Young Vets coming out now.
I missed Diener's promo here, but we can talk if we find another time of. I get the back, the feeling a bit behind Mercedes Moné, but is it a lot of just certain people are really behind her and she's really not as big as she thinks she is? Because the needle ain't moving.
I mean that's true. That's true. But I don't know. I don't think one person can potentially move the needle, and I've always felt like that of being a wrestling fan. I've kind of felt it's just not one person's doing. In the Attitude Era, it was Stone Cold, it was The Rock, it was Triple H, it was Shawn Michaels. It was a lot of people moving the needle at the same time. During the Ruthless Aggression era, you had Batista, you had Randy Orton, you had John Cena. You had a lot of people moving the needle at the same time. Now you got Roman Reigns, you got Brock Lesnar, you got Seth Rollins. You got a lot of people doing that at the same time. I think AEW's problem is let's just get one person and see if they move the needle. It didn't happen with Edge. It didn't happen with Mercedes Moné. It's not happening with Okada. It's not happening with what is his name? Ospreay. It's not happening with Ospreay because there's no storyline surrounding them. And that's the problem. You're not getting people to tune in each and every week. When you talk about the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era and the PG era, there is always storylines moving, no matter if you like them or not. But there are storylines moving, and it's just not happening in AEW.
Well, I hear your point 100%. As I've still got Dina right now out here with the Grizzly Young Vets, but not to take away from TNA and not to interrupt the chat here, but could it be because they've constantly been on this one person has to move the needle, that person needs to move the needle versus we try and move the needle as a whole?
I think that's the problem right there. And I think
Ospreay versus Danielson to me moves the needle like that. People tune in when Will Ospreay's there, but people don't tune in to when Okada and the Young Bucks are there. People are already tuning out when Ospreay or when Mercedes there and everything, but they're not. You've got a lot of pieces. Now you've got to put them the fuck together, right?
Exactly. You got a lot of these big names, but nothing's moving around. And I never expected Mercedes Moné, and this is me personally, to come in and boost the ratings. I never expected that. Like I said,
Tina throwing hands with GYV. Yeah, you know me.
I wasn't expecting them to attack Dina.
Not at all.
And we got the
he seems like the perfect, halfway soccer hooligan that would be with them. Daniel, what up? Bashi, what up? So we're getting, I believe, the start of the Time Splitters, Kushida and Alex Shelley versus GYV. So let us know, folks, who you taking?
I got the Grizzled Young Vets. I feel like Alex Shelley has lost some steps. He's falling out with Chris Sabin a little bit. I'm going with the Grizzled Young Vets here.
I'll go with the Grizzled Young Vets. I'm a big fan of them as a tag team, but that's if people want to talk about teams and superstars that WWE fumbled. There's two of them there. I feel
one.
Right. Especially we're talking about if Motor City Machine Guns was to go to WWE, where you had the fucking team that was placing that was facing them and almost replacing them right there with GYV. So Tom and Jerry and Ollie we trust. Alex team for the win, JYV for the win. Daniel, I don't know what you're on about. Pink and Time Splitters, JYV for the win.
I'll be surprised if the Time Splitters win here. I really would be.
Now, is it because more of a bit with the whole Motor City Machine Guns story going on and everything? Because, like you said, with Ali, we don't know if JYV's actually signed to TNA or if they're just here for a good time, not here for a long time.
Yeah, I really thought JYV would have signed by now, to be honest. I had a bold prediction that they were going to win at No Surrender, the titles against ABC in that best out of 3 series,
right,
and then sign, and that hasn't happened. So I feel like they're on that if it's true, that per appearance type deal.
Now, would you have them TNA, WWE, AEW?
Mm-hmm.
Which one would you have GYV go to?
AEW. They weren't used right in WWE. I don't think they would be used right now. If they don't sign with TNA, I can see them going to AEW in a heartbeat. But it also looks like they
because I want them versus FTR, but at the same time,
match
when they what's their fucking new pay-per-view that's coming up in April? Why am I blanking on the name?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name either.
Yeah, but if they had that, and you had FTR versus GYV on that, or I mean, granted, when they were in WWE, it was still under, Vincent, he
Kenny,
who shall not be named. So maybe they get used right if they were under Hunter in WWE. But it feels like anyone that signs with WWE right now has to do that little, I've got to dip your toes in NXT for a hot minute before you can skip on. But that's to say that they've got enough going on that they don't need to add extra salt or extra seasoning.
yeah, I actually think NXT is being used for what it was meant to be, is that starting ground for new talent or talent that hasn't been in WWE before, and to then move up to the main roster. I think NXT is actually being that for the first time in a very, very long time. So I think that would be what is happening. I really do see if someone like what is it, Grizzled Young Vets,
GYV.
Yeah, GYV. If they move from TNA and go back to WWE, I think they would have to start off in NXT again, but not very long. I'm not talking a year. I'm talking maybe 6 months and then move on to the main roster.
See, I could see them more. They slide into like a Monday Night Raw and you get them versus DIY. Because that's what I'm looking of. That's the levels here. They either go DIY in WWE or they go New Cash Republic, which I fucking hate that. British.
I don't like that name. I don't like that name.
No one likes it. The fucking people on the team don't even like it. Be Bait and Butch, which somehow sounds worse, versus GYV, but I really like the idea of like, fuck, you're gonna give me, say, Danielson and Ospreay on a card, and you give me JYV versus FTR. That's a spicy meatball, Mr. Tony Khan.
Exactly. I would pay money in a heartbeat to see both of those matches. I already know that the Will Ospreay match and Bryan Danielson is going down. So seeing that one happen on the same pay-per-view, yeah, I would instantly pay money for that.
Right. As I've got Shelly and James Drake going back and forth down here. Ooh. E-Dub, what up, my guy? Strickland champ. Yeah, he needs to be. They're just holding placehold with that here. Granted, I like the idea of him versus Takeshita. That's a fantastic match, but the way we got there, missed me with that. Well, no, you could just have it be a fucking number one qualifiers match, or you could just have it be a good match. Like, you don't need to have Don Fallis come out there and act like, well, my member of my family was, which, by the way, Don Fallis should not be talking about any members. Pause. But for him to come out there and everything, like, it's going to be a fantastic match. It's like Ospreay and Shibata on Collision and everything. They're going to be fantastic matches. But I'll give Ospreay and Shibata the credit of how they got there. Swerve Takeshita, you didn't need that like weird interaction there.
Yeah, I agree. That I kind of even tuned out when that happened. I was like, why is this happening? But granted, I'm in and out with TNA as a whole. I mean, not TNA, AEW as a whole.
I was gonna say, we're watching TNA. You're the TNA guy. You can't say you're in and out with TNA.
So
Man's exposing the gimmick.
So when it happened, I was like, why are we doing this? But I don't know. I question a lot of things sometimes I see on AEW television.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing, is that the people that make decisions don't question anything. That's the fucking problem.
And I try not to act like the booker, but sometimes I'm like, I think I could book a better show than this.
Well, and so we've got GYV working over Alex Shelley here while Shelley's fighting out of the corner here. Is Tony Khan heel now because he's backstage there with the Bucks and everything while they're out there for Okada's match, and just, yeah, that was good. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Like, these guys are assholes all the time on your television, and you ain't doing nothing to stop it. So you're an
Right.
asshole too.
No, he definitely seems like he's moving over to the dark side, congratulating a lot of these heels. I don't know.
Marky One Kenobi.
But I also think he's always been a heel anyway with his like rants on Twitter. He's always been that type of heel. So I don't know.
That's just been him cutting promos.
I think so.
Wait till they hear this promo. He just does 20-minute tweets instead of 20-minute video recorded promos like Dwayne.
Oh man, which I haven't watched not one of them because I'm not
Really.
I have not watched one of those promos at all.
Well, then you must like SmackDown because he just rings back. He just does everything he said in that promo on SmackDown. Just the Cliff Notes version.
Well, I guess I'm hearing parts of it.
Oh, like I said, he just does the Cliff Notes version, at least to me. As Dragon Legs screws onto Alex Shelley from James Drake on the middle rope, tag into why am I blanking on his name? Zach Gibson.
Roman, good. Go ahead.
No, you're good. What are we saying?
I was saying this tag team match is really good. I like how the Grizzled Young Vets have slowed down the pace a little bit too.
Well, that's the thing is that's why I like them with that kind of real technical team, and that's what when they went from GYV, the Grizzled Young Vets in NXT UK to fucking the Schism, you can figure out the rest.
Yeah.
That it just didn't get over. It just felt really weird. It felt like just wish.com Clockwork Orange shit, and it just didn't work. Like Christ, Ava Rain and Joe Gacy are still having to recover from this.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Dijak still having to recover from the fucking Retribution.
Yeah, and it's taken a bit of time for them to recover. It's like it's taken a long time actually.
Right. Gibson going for a 2 count. Wasn't Charlie's just screaming?
Exactly. I was just about to say that he's just screaming. Oh, he got the tag.
What? He wasn't holding anything there. Like he literally just. So what Shelley had there is just he had his forearm amongst that man's posterior and then was grabbing his own hand betwixt that. Like, so he wasn't actually submitting anything.
Exactly.
He was just grabbing his own arm.
And then Shelley started screaming when he tagged him, like you saw the tag.
That's what Shelley's doing. Right. Like I'm working in something. Like you have to hold. You're locking in yourself.
Release whatever hold.
Right. Whips and chains, handcuffs, smack a little booty over my bro. Shelley just taking out Gibson right now here.
Come on, get the tag.
WWE had Mauro now. JBL almost broke him. I don't know where we're going on with that.
I think they're talking about Mauro Ranallo potentially signing with MLW.
Yeah. Oh, sad day. Sad day. Give me him in WWE, please.
He's so good.
I personally really like Mauro, just because of he's so good, and especially just on a personal level. Side note, because I have bipolar disorder, he has bipolar disorder. Like, so his whole bipolar rock and roller documentary and everything like that. Like to see somebody that was at that level and was that good at what he does and everything like that, to me was just he holds a special place with me just because it's like that's who I look up to.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Oh, Drake with a step up in Zaguri on the Kushida. If they went with a sliced bread.
That's what I was about to ask, because I was like, is that a sliced bread? But I wasn't sure.
Yeah, they called it out on sliced bread. That's what I saw. And I'm like, if they win with a sliced bread, against Alex Shelley. Oh boy, howdy.
Man.
Keith, what up? Was that Hammerstone interview absolute fire? What? Just getting here if I'm late to talk about that. Now you good. I really like the whole back and forth between Hammerstone and Alexander. I think that that's really your top feud in AEW right now.
Yeah, it's definitely the top feud that's only started in January, and we're March, and it's one of the best here in TNA.
Well, when you have two of the top guys just doing
Mhm.
it in pro wrestling, I would argue.
No, correct. Yeah, you said it right there. I don't even have anything else to say. You're correct.
Right. Well, I mean, you've got the walking weapon versus, respectfully, if they ever do a biopic of when it comes crashing down and it hurts
It has
inside.
to.
Tower of Doom. Oh, because she. When the last time you saw somebody punch their way out, like not on the guy that's holding them, but the guy that's jumping out of a Tower of Doom?
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, I feel like the time splitters are winning now. Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Oh, taps out with the Kimura there.
Yeah, that was wow. I really enjoyed that match. I didn't for some reason I didn't think that match was going to be that good, but it was.
Well, because I think, like I said, I think it's that little bit of that aspect that creeps into where, all right, so Shelly, Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns are done. So we're going to build up the Grizzly Young Vets. We're ushering in the new talent while we, vacate the older talent here. And for them to pick up the win here, I think this works as really establishing just TNA's tag division.
Agreed. Which I think it didn't need a lot of work. It just needed more tag teams, and I think that's what's happening here.
Right, as we're getting Hammerstone backstage right here. So Hammerstone going back all the way to when he showed up on Explosion
in 2018.
Bruh, I'm going to be keeping it a buck. You have a company named TNA, and your sideshow is called Explosion. You don't need to tell me Vince Russo worked here. I can see Vince Russo worked here. Yes, Keith. By the way, we do watch it on YouTube under their membership, so we're probably a bit behind if you're watching on Access and all that and everything. But yeah, 100%. We watch with no commercials. Oh, but I forgot what you said at the end there. Of make sure you hit that like and subscribe, everybody. As I see 55 people kicking around with us as we're tiptoeing on the way to 4.10K or 4.1K, and I'm going to be back at it like a jackrabbit tomorrow for Friday Night SmackDown. We've already got it set up to where we're going to be here all day from noon o'clock Eastern all the way through WrestleMania Night 1 and then back at it for WrestleMania Night 2. There is no company out there that covers more live pro wrestling than we do.
Yeah, none. I think we're live 6 days a week. It's a lot.
At some point, sometimes it's some. We're crossing the Hulk Hogan space-time continuum of how when he would wrestle in Japan and add days to the calendar. I feel like at times we're here 8 days a week, even though there's only 7 type of show. But I'm gonna go find that extra day here. I'll be right back.
All right. While Nick takes a pause for a second, we got Hammerstone on TNA TV talking about Mr. Josh Alexander. I guess they're talking about how he technically cheated to win that sacrifice, which that's exactly what he did. I don't know if this match has been announced for Rebellion, but I'm hopeful for that. Don't you guys have like over 1 million watch hours? That's Hogan math. We do have I think we do have over 1 million watch hours. We got a lot there. Oh, he just said that he's a better wrestler than Josh Alexander. I don't know about that. Sucks to hear about Oscar with the knee injury. Yeah, I heard about that today. May do freebird rule putting Dakota and Kyrie together if Oscar can't go. I like that idea. Just move that tag team championship over to Dakota Kai. And I actually like what Dakota Kai is kind of doing right now with damage control. Oh, this is good with Alex Hammerstone. I'm liking this interview. Ooh, that was good. So we still got Tasha Steelz versus Jordan Grace for the TNA Impact Knockouts Championship. We got Ash by Elegance in her third match. And right now, or coming up, I should say, coming up next, we got Crazy Steve versus PCO. Damian Heater says Moose versus Nick Nemeth TNA Heavyweight Championship and Jake Something versus Mustafa Ali added to Rebellion. I like that. I do know Moose versus Nick Nemeth, I think was announced like last week, but Mustafa Ali versus something at Rebellion, I think is going to be pretty great. Jake Something is huge. Mustafa Ali is at the top of his game right now. I think this is going to be good. Tommy versus Steve was good. Fingers crossed that PCO wins because I like PCO, but I don't feel like that's happening. So now that we have Crazy Steve versus PCO, give me your predictions. Who you got walking out of Impact with the Digital Media Championship? While we have Crazy Steve's entrance right now, which is, I love his entrance. Going through the chat right now to make sure I didn't miss anything. AEW, WWE missed out on signing Mauro Ranallo. He's officially signed with, has officially signed with MLW. I didn't know that. Well, hopefully I get to go to my first MLW show in Atlanta when they come here in June. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right, so I'm gonna just call you by the last one. Quest. I live in a bipolar state. 80s one day, deep freeze the next. It's sad, really. Yeah, Georgia is the same way. So we got Dro Crazy Steve for the win. Steve Chambers saying picking PCO. Okay. We got Damian saying Crazy Steve for the win. I like this. It's kind of split here. Need to get Bloodsport, Shayna Baszler versus Masha Slamovich, which is going to be good. I think that is going to be on Triller TV. And I think that's Friday or no, Thursday, April 4th. I might be wrong. But yeah, I think that's going to be a great match. I really love Masha Slamovich and Shayna Baszler. She's great, just not very used in WWE. Am I in Nick's room? No, I'm not in Nick's room. All right, so the match is kicking off. PCO versus Crazy Steve for the Digital Media Championship. We got Unbroken with PCO for the win down here. We also have Unbroken saying Ash by Elegance is not so elegant. I think she is. I think she's pretty elegant. It's pronounced manna. Okay, like manna from the, I thought it was like manna from the Bible, but I wasn't sure. So it's manna. All right. Ooh, we getting Mike Bailey versus Nick Nemeth at Bloodsport. I did not know. Yeah, I definitely have to figure out how to watch GCW, which I think it is on Triller TV. So Mana says, what in the Rudy Blue hell is a digital media championship anyway? How does it work? So it's basically like a TV title. That's what the digital media championship is. It's basically like a TV title. I think they called it digital media because their things are on YouTube. Their their TV shows. I don't know, but it's basically like their version of a TV title. We got PCO with the upper hand here until he went into the steel post. I'm thinking Crazy Steve retains, even though I want PCO to win. TV title, internet title, like Southern title, Dutch didn't want. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. That's definitely kind of what it is. Oh, we got Crazy Steve pointing his elbow into the top of PCO's head. Ooh, yeah, PCO definitely taking a beating right now by Crazy Steve. So if you don't know how this match came about, basically last week, Crazy Steve gloated about how he beat Tommy Dreamer and Rhino. PCO interrupted, and that's how we got to this match for the Digital Media Championship. What is up, Kevin? How you doing? How you doing? Remember, we still got Ash by Elegance. We got the TNA Knockouts World Championship match, which I'm pretty sure will be the main event tonight. JV from New Jersey said, I always thought the digital media title was Cardano's way of getting his internet championship over. That could be too. That's definitely that definitely could be true. Oh, we got PCO sitting here like powering up, I guess you could say. There we go. We got PCO finally getting the upper hand on Crazy Steve. Can you imagine PCO versus The Undertaker? Give me The Undertaker, give me PCO, both in their prime. I would pay money to be there live to see it. Woo. I agree. I agree. TNA need more women on their roster. I agree. I've seen this discourse a little bit on Twitter, especially in the TNA Knockouts tag team division, because I think it's only about 4 tag teams. But yeah, I agree with you there. They get great wrestlers for the Knockouts division. They just need more of those great wrestlers. I always thought the digital title was for Cardano to cheat with other women. Maybe they should put the YouTube and Facebook logos on the digital media title. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. PCO versus Undertaker is like a giant game of Rock'em Sock'em Robots. We got PCO going to the top. He hit Crazy Steve with the animator, if I can say that correctly. Man, this match is pretty good. Undertaker versus PCO would be an absolute banger. Put it on the WrestleMania card. Let it be, for one of the Undertaker streaks. I would pay for that. With Nick returning.
I feel like that match has kind of happened. It might have been more when he was the Mountie and everything like that, but I feel like we've probably seen him and Taker in the ring, just not under the PCO gimmick here.
That's true. That is true.
But yeah, I do think that initially the Digital Media Championship started under Cardona because of the internet title, which had the Facebook and the YouTube logos, which, by the way, we're the Digital Media Champions, I guess. The tag trios champions of wrestling out here, because we got the TikToks, we got the Instagrams, we got the Twitters, we got the YouTubes, we got anything and everything for your pro wrestling needs. Yeah.
Absolutely. Ooh, we got Khan coming out. And he has a host of weapons with him.
I feel like we're setting up for. I feel oddly enough like the digital media championship has just become the hardcore division because you had Crazy Steve versus Tommy Dreamer. Now you're getting Crazy Steve versus PCO. You had Khan involved with this. Like this is now just their hardcore title.
It's their version of the hardcore title at this point.
No, because they know if they do some crazy shit, if somebody goes through a pane of glass or something, it's going to go viral and everyone's going to act like the fucking show is great because that's the only thing they're going to see on the show.
True. Ooh, PCO. Did he just flip over the top rope or go through the middle rope?
The middle. Tobe Con Quebecer.
And they also have that weird .com, what is it, a .combat match with the digital media title where it's like a bunch of cell phones. Yeah, it's like a bunch of electronics and they use as weapons. Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times.
Oh, I'm thinking of is the electrified cage that they had with the other boys there for Lethal Lockdowns, where they sit there and sell that the cage was electrified.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Okay. It's out here with a cattle prod for no reason playing Scott Hall. TJ, what up? My prediction is coming true. Well, I don't know your prediction, sir.
Yeah, what is your prediction? Did I miss it? Oh, now the crowd is chanting, "We want tables." I don't even think this is like a hardcore match, so I don't know if he's.
No, it's the digital media championship, like I said. So it's now become the hardcore championship match.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because, like I said, this is going to be the one thing that they share on social media that is going to get everyone to think that, you know, the whole show is great. This is the only thing that happened on this show. It's like, it's respectfully, I liked Dynamite, but it's the same thing like what happened with Copeland and Christian having their hockey fight in the penalty box there, to where they made sure to slap on Bruins and Maple Leafs jerseys. And I wish KJ here was here to give a breakdown for Bruins versus Maple Leafs. But yeah, that's what I feel was everybody was sharing around about Dynamite. No one was sharing around anything else except of them hockey fighting in the penalty box.
That's true. That is true. Crazy Steve retains.
Roll through. Oh, and now, oh, fuck. On a match like that, to where you've got this bit of furniture, you've got this extracurricular and everything, and then to win it on a roll up.
Kind of weird.
Little flat.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I know they're kind of using this to further the feud with PCO and Khan, which I feel like a stipulation needs to be added to that match, like Monsters Ball. But
have they not had stipulations added before? Speaking of stipulations, we got Decay out here.
I don't think we've had a stipulation match with them, because the one that was a disqualification at No Surrender, they just fought with weapons after the match was over.
Yeah, I entirely forgot that was a disqualification. I thought that was your stipulation match, but yeah.
We got MK Ultra too.
Now, respectfully, is this more Spitfires? Should just change their name to Crosshairs, because they're just in the middle of both teams' crosshairs here. They're just in between. They're holding the title till one of these two fucking wins it.
They're in between this feud between Decay and MK Ultra. I feel like they're the third wheel of this feud, and I really feel like they're a placeholder until if a match does happen at Rebellion.
Oh, this has to. I feel at this point, I feel like we're setting up a triple threat now. I think we've all wanted a Monsters Ball between these two these two teams here. Which, shout out Keller Kelly. I believe it's her birthday today.
It is.
I saw she's going to be in some B-rated horror movie.
Really? I like
her, and I believe Aiden English as well.
I'm gonna have to look that up because I like B-rated horror movies.
Well, sometimes it just scratches that itch there.
Yeah.
I mean, Christ, I'm a Friday the 13th fan, and most of those movies are B horror movies, to be honest.
I don't think Eric Young was advertised for the night. Yeah,
no, you can tell because the camera can't fucking focus on him. I'm sorry, but EY coming out right now.
Interested to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, I do really want a Monsters Ball match just between Decay and MK Ultra, and unfortunately, Danny Luna and Jody Threat, Spitfire. There's just you're caught in the middle of a storm there.
Yeah, they're caught between two powerhouses basically, and I feel bad. I really feel bad for them too.
I think they'll have a good match. Like they will establish their place in there, but yeah, they ain't winning. It's like Eddie Kingston going against Okada. You ain't winning.
You ain't winning. He's talking about his match at Sacrifice.
He had a 33 and a 3% chance to win at Sacrifice. Because Aaron, you fight. They're supposed to make B-rated movies of the whole. Oh God, that was a B-rated movie. Fuck, you don't need to make one out of what already was one. Fucking Cloverfield out here.
Yeah,
just gonna do it in first person perspective. EY calling out still Kazarian saying, "You want to be rock and roll? You want to be heavy metal?"
So he's saying Frankie Kazarian versus him at Rebellion in a Full Metal Mayhem match.
Is that just Lisa Lockdown?
I think so. I think
Fair
so.
Do they just not own the trademark, so we can't say that?
I think that's going to be a great match there.
Well, everything with TNA has a story intertwined with it versus some other other companies, some other three-letter acronyms that just it's a good match. It's a good match.
Yeah. I think that's a good something good that TNA is very good at. It's making storylines. Now last year they struggled, but I think that was because of the switch over to TNA wrestling. But yeah, they're solid with their stories a lot of the times.
Oh yeah, well, and they will still at least have a story, even if it's
very short. Yeah,
I was gonna say because I don't think Eddie Edwards and all that was a huge great story, but they still rode with it. But we've got the concierge, the consigliere here for Ash by Elegance right now. He's more over than her.
he is.
Even a buck. Even a buck. Bruh, CJ Perry's about to show up in TNA in about 2 weeks and just do the same shit and just do it better. Or at least equivalent. That's a fucking tag team right there. Her and CJ Perry.
I think really time will tell with Ash by Elegance. She has to, I don't want to say a real wrestler, but she has to face somebody like Tasha Steelz or Jordan Grace or Zaya Brookside. She's just fighting
the feud that she's setting up there with Zaya Brookside here.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I'm torn of it because, like I talked about with KJ earlier, we all wanted her to go to TNA once she got released, and so now we got what we wanted. So do we halfway have to just accept it and be like, well, this is what we asked for? It's just still a pile of shit. We just asked for it. But.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people think it's a pile of mess, but I'm actually enjoying it. I just want her to have an actual wrestling match with I don't want to say actual wrestler, but with the likes of like Tasha Steele.
But that's the thing is there's glimpses. Like I like the rarefied air and everything, but you can't have someone having a match with you can't have someone who's green as goose shit having a match with someone else who's green as goose shit and expect that to get the main person over here. Like
right.
She's got to have a match with somebody like you said, like a Tasha Steele's, Zaya Brookside, anyone that's in that knockouts division, that's prominent in that knockouts division, that can more respectfully lead the match. If I can say
no,
that.
I agree with you. I agree with you there. And I think that was a powerful slap. I think they're setting up something with Zaya Brookside and Ash by Elegance.
Oh yeah, they've been going back and forth at each other on Twitter.
Sacrifice, I think it was.
Yeah, to where she got shoved into her. Like I said, they've been going back and forth at it on Twitter. So I feel like that's going to be Zaya's first feud there, which respectfully is going to be to get Zaya over, not Ash.
Really? You think so?
They're going to build into Zaya before they build into Ash, I feel. Like unless, what are you going to do? You're going to do Jordan Grace versus Ash? You're going to do a Masha Slamovitz versus Ash? A Tasha Steele versus Ash is probably the lowest you're probably going to go.
I mean, I can see Jordan Grace versus Ash. I really can. But I don't know.
If you did that match, do you see Ash by Elegance winning? Like,
no,
I don't see anybody predict to be potentially winner? Zaya Brookside or Ash?
I don't see anybody beating Jordan Grace other than Danny Luna, to be honest. I don't see a Zaya Brookside. I don't see a Tasha Steeles. There's literally nobody in that knockouts division that can really step to Jordan Grace like Deonna Purrazzo could and Mickie James, but none of them are there anymore.
I'll still give you a golf clap because you mentioned Danny Luna. So yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Suplex by Ash here.
Looks like she's going for a rarefied air now.
I still just always have to call it a Swanton Bomb.
I think that's the best one she hit.
Oh, and especially in the center of the ring too.
Yeah.
Like normally they're set up close in the corner. Like she got some distance on that.
Yeah.
You got but I like though that she has a mouthpiece for her because she
can't talk. I mean,
no,
I've always liked her, but she can't talk. Oh, now she got a chair.
Do they have all like the sticky notes on this to like make sure this is the chair you use? Don't use the other chair. This is the gimmick chair. This is the chair for this spot. Because that thing's looking like it's sponsored by Post-it. With how many
exactly. No, there's a lot of Post-it on it. Looks like she's
gonna hit the
air again, but Zaya Brookside is running out. Looks like something's building here.
Right. Hit something on her. Just it's just weird. Of like you got her set up. You're already set up to hit a move.
So right. Hit some type of move.
Why are you just gonna sit there and step down and I guess you're right.
Zaya Brookside does not look happy.
She looks like the fucking evil wife in like a fucking like Step Brothers movie or something like that. Like this is out here. I'm like, got my eyes on you.
Exactly.
Do something about it. Then you're a fucking wrestler. Act like it.
She had that dark stare. She really did. I like what Mana said down here. The chairs used in tonight's episode of TNA are brought to you by Mattel because they definitely didn't look like the standard chairs.
No, They have the chairs that look like they're from like your patio section at your local Lowe's or Home Depot or something.
I was just about to say that. Yep.
They look like, you're going to be having that at your backyard barbecue. It's got the weird floral pattern and everything.
Oh, we got Nick Nemeth.
On Saturday, April 20th, we're going to get Nick Nemeth versus Moose.
And I think that's the night before AEW Dynasty, because I think they're the 21st.
That's the pay-per-view we were thinking of
Yeah.
earlier. Yes, absolutely.
What does Nick got to say about what happened last week? Let's see.
Now, do you feel with the Wanted Man and doing it like the 80s hair metal and everything, like he's just Chris Jericho, just he doesn't have the fake band to sing him out to the shows?
A fake band. I kind of get that, vibe from him. Yeah. I kind of
He's hair metal. Take a ride on the wild side. Well, face the chest, you got me by a couple of feet. Leslie is saying, here comes Dolph. Yes, we got Dolph out here cutting a promo. Big Dog. Yeah, we got that from Big Dog.
kind of giving the crowd a rundown of what he's done the past couple of months.
Booze for Steve Macklin.
Right.
So he's sitting there. The first one to step up to me was Steve Macklin. Now, how do you feel about this? Because to me, on one hand, get to the fucking point. Instead of if we've been watching, we don't need a recap through your entire time since you've been here.
Oh no, I agree with you. I think that's saved like right before the match, like a video package. I don't think we really need a rundown of what's been going on. Just get to Moose in the system. Yeah,
especially like it should be build up that hostility between the two of you versus just, well, I'm here, I'm new, right? So I should get the world title. No, build up that hostility, build up that reason why you're going at Moose. Because Moose is a guy who obviously WWE and AEW, etc., have looked at. He's a guy that can actually still talk for being as big as he is and having the name of a fucking animal.
So. Oh, we got the system coming out now. Finally, let's get to something here.
But that I feel like it would have worked better. And granted, I missed probably part of his promo because I was talking. But if it was aimed strictly at the system, even if he sits there and he goes at Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers and how you guys are just lackeys to this, whatever, you do something like that, you have that, and that sets up a match before you get to that, because we've got arguably about a month before Rebellion.
Yeah, because we've already went through the Steve Macklin thing. It ended at Sacrifice. Nick Nemeth pulled out the victory. Last week, the system attacked him. So now you need to attack the system, whether it be through words or whether it be, a physical attack. I think we need to lay off of Steve Macklin and let's get to the point of Moose in the system.
Yeah, aim that, focus your trajectory here.
Right.
So the system walking out here in the ring, and are they just supposed to be TNA's Evolution is a Mystery?
It gives those vibes. It gives those vibes.
Yeah, if this was,
and we just got Alicia Edwards on the side.
I'm gonna let you have that. I'm gonna move on from that. But yeah, if this was like the soap network, I feel days of our TNAs right now.
Days of our TNAs.
Guys, who do you see joining the Speedball, Mountain, and Nick Nemeth side to counter Alicia Edwards? So, everyone, who do you have conspiring against that mighty, morphin evil villain there, Alicia Edwards?
I don't know. I don't know who you would get. And I'm trying to think of the roster here. Only person that's hasn't appeared in a minute would be Giselle Shaw. But I don't even know if she's really with the company anymore. She hasn't appeared in like a month.
She seems like somebody that Scott's out, I'm out.
Yeah.
So the system talking smack to Nemeth and then walk off.
Whatever Moose said, because I didn't hear it. Like, really has Nick Nemeth stunned.
You're gonna find me hard pressed to really be excited about Brian Myers, especially Eddie Edwards. Moose, you probably got me, but yeah. Jordan Grace walking back. Now, shit. I'll ask you this and I'll ask the chat.
Yeah.
Because TNA hasn't done that. AEW hasn't done that until recently. WWE's very much done that recently. Is this now monkey see, monkey do a little bit of we see what they're doing and what works for them, of showing someone the walking backstage? Now, granted, you used to get that with the Goldbergs and everything, somebody walking backstage, but we haven't seen that in probably 20 years.
Yeah.
Now we're getting back to that. TNA just brought that up. Is it a bit of monkey see, monkey do? Or is it just we've all realized, no, it just is good. It's a good thing. We should do it.
I think it's more of like a good thing. This is going to be weird. Weird what I'm about to say. If I see AEW do it, I feel like they're copying WWE. If I see TNA doing it, I feel like it's a good thing. I don't know, because it feels like
not biased at all. No bias.
If you look at AEW's production, they have taken the LED side screens. They have taken the LED barricades. It's like, I thought you were supposed to be the alternative. I don't know.
AEW is only missing 3 letters to not be the other company, but no one wants to admit that to an extent, or at least a derivative of that other company. With TNA, I don't know. I feel on one hand they halfway get a pass because they're the smallest out of the 3.
Yeah.
And B, we also know that they do have a working relationship, obviously, between them and the other. Jordan Grace was in the Women's Royal Rumble. Christ, we saw her. I just saw her walking backstage, and I'm like, now imagine if that was her walking out on Monday Night Raw. Like, fuck.
Right.
That's really, I feel, where that fits best.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Oh no, I agree with you. As much as I would love for her to stay with TNA, when her contract expires, Triple H is definitely calling Jordan Grace. Like, she looked like a star at the Royal Rumble.
You get her and a Bianca Belair, and you can make that feud work.
Right.
Whoa.
Right.
Her versus even a Jade Cargill, you make that feud. Well, we can talk about the whole Jade Cargill to where everyone thinks that just she's floated off into the abyss. But there's a lot. Her versus a Charlotte, her versus a Becky.
Mm-hmm. Her versus Rhea. They took that picture together, and I was like, make it happen. Like, make the match happen. And I mean, And ever since she's been at the Royal Rumble, I mean, she's had constant like interactions with a lot of these women from WWE on Twitter. Like there was even one time where she mentioned like she wanted to face Natalia at Slammiversary. Like it's just
I'd be all the way for it.
yeah.
Would now her entry feud into WWE, if we went that route, be Naomi because of the history?
Oh, absolutely. It would have to be. It would have to be against Naomi because of the history between those two.
But so we do have the Knockouts Women's Championship going on right now. We've got Jordan Grace taking on Tasha Steelz. So let us know, folks, who you taking, who you got for this match, and why is it Jordan Grace?
It's definitely Jordan Grace. This match is actually giving me kind of like a big fight feel type of thing because Tasha Steelz can hold her own.
Tasha Steelz is respectfully someone I didn't know from a hole in the wall until she really kind of came to relevance and prevalence in TNA.
Yeah.
Like, that's not one of those names I heard on the independent scene or anything like that.
Yeah. Agreed. Her feud with Mickie James, one of the best I've seen.
Well, Christ, even her team there with Savannah Evans and everything.
Yeah.
Or didn't she have a good feud with Kiera Hogan as well? Who
she did.
I feel was needs to just go back to TNA. You the grass ain't always greener.
Greener on the other side.
Right.
And I still feel like TNA dropped the ball with a Naomi versus Tasha Steelz. That was one of the matches like was high on my list when Trinity signed with TNA. But she also wasn't around a lot last year either. So
but I think that really shows that TNA is good at they'll pivot. Like if it's a Tasha Steelz, if it's a Rosemary who's been out for a hot minute, Jessica Havoc who's been out for a hot minute. They lost Taya Valkyrie, who was a figure in their division. They managed to pivot, especially their women's division, and pivot well.
They pivot very well. That's why when a lot of people were saying it was a big blow for Trinity to leave and go back to WWE, I was like, no, it's not. As much as I love Trinity, it's not, because TNA knows how to thrive in recycled talent, basically.
I feel like initially we all kind of figured she was there just on, someone does a stint in the I'm gonna say this respectfully, does a stint in the minors and everything, or she was there. Get yourself hot for a little bit, start cooking, and then you make that jump back up.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as I didn't want it to happen, we've had many discussions on this channel about how much I didn't want it to happen. It was eventually happening. So
we almost came to blows, my guy. Kiera Hogan, say your prayers, take your vitamins. Whoa, I got 2 of them 3 down so far. Wait, wrong Hogan, my bad. My bad. I always go back to the Hogan promo tour. He's backstroking and everything. That's the greatest Hogan promo ever.
Tasha Steelz just yelled at the ref, "You counting too slow."
Right. Oh, big elbow from the back, from back elbow there from Jordan Grace. I'm gonna say this respectfully. Jordan Grace is probably A, bigger, and B, currently more of a prominent pro wrestler than her hubby there, Jonathan Gresham.
Oh yeah, I don't even know where Jonathan Gresham is. Is he even still signed with TNA? I don't.
That's a very valid question. Could he go TNA?
Yeah, I don't know who that man is.
NXT. Ilya versus Jonathan Gresham.
Ooh, that would be a match. That would be a
match. If it happens, I at least just want 10% royalties. That's all I ask. Just give me an executive producer role there, like MJF on Iron Claw, and we're good.
He is not on the oh, yes, he is. Okay. I had to scroll down a little bit more, but he's still on the TNA roster page. So he's still there.
Bully ain't.
Yeah, he is not.
Oh, the roll through. Jordan with a 2 count.
I like what Steven Chambers said. He said Grace reminds him of Beth Phoenix. I can somewhat agree there. Beth Phoenix was a
Oh,
powerhouse in her own right.
very much the glamazon and everything. And
Yeah.
I think she was the front runner for that. Beth Phoenix was
Oh yeah.
the powerhouse female athlete and everything when it comes to pro wrestling, like Jade Cargill, Jordan Grace, even
Bianca
saying
Belair
like a
even said
Bianca, yeah.
I think Bianca Belair actually said last year she was jealous of Rhea Ripley for being in the same ring as Beth Phoenix.
Well, that's another prime example. I would say Rhea's more Beth than Bianca, just because Bianca's elevated it to her own. Of Bianca to me is more athletic. She'll hit that back
agreed.
handsprings. She'll hit the KODs out of fucking nowhere and shit.
Yeah, agreed. Ooh, that was a
big spine buster. I still just remember when she was out there with, Scott Steiner and little Petey Pump and everything was Jordan Grace. She came out there with just the fucking, the chain link and everything.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ref Steiner doing math. Well, at least it's not Ref Aubrey. I say nay. Guys, do you think we will see another knockout joining the system so they can go after the knockouts tag team titles? That's a question more for you, sir.
I never thought about that, to be honest.
Oh,
I'm assuming you're saying she's teaming up with Alicia Edwards. I never thought about that. I can't give you a legitimate answer.
Rebby Hardy, because neither one of them are a wrestler, but they both think they are. But that was fucking crazy there. So Jordan Grace had the powerbomb pin, and then Tasha Steele sat there and just literally just threw her hips a certain way.
Yeah.
And just worked it into an armbar and like a standing armbar.
Oh man. Muscle Buster. Tasha Steele rolls out.
Yeah, no, I don't respectfully. I don't want to see Alicia Edwards, and I damn sure don't want to see her with a partner. Keep it a buck. She's not a wrestler. She's a manager. She's a valet.
Ooh. Tasha rolls out the way.
Ooh. No sells the neck breaker, though.
Yeah.
Does Jordan Grace, but goes for the splash. Nobody home. Slide. Now, is this a little bit of on the nose of, hey, Motor City Machine Guns, we're in contract talks. Everyone hits a sliced bread tonight.
No, agreed. Because when I saw it, I was like, let's everybody hit it tonight.
Everybody's hitting tonight. It. Have fun tonight. So both women right now trying to collect themselves. I've got Jordan Grace on the outside. Tasha Steele is on the inside. What do I feel like we're getting? We're either getting vintage Jordan or we're getting a suplex on the outside.
Jordan Grace going to the top. Oh. What are we? Both women at the top now. Ooh, what a slap. Slapped the taste out her mouth at this point.
Headbutts. I just got the slap, so I'm like a half a second behind you. So I refresh. Oh, Styles Clash. Oh, fuck. I thought she was about to hit her.
It was close. Wait, is she about to hit? Oh, she was so close to hitting Stratisfaction.
You're not enough for me. Oh, no, that's Michelle McCool. Oh. Oh, step up enziguri from Tasha Steelz.
Ooh, there it is.
I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
Wow. I just don't know who can stop Jordan Grace other than Danny Luna.
Is Jordan Grace bleeding in her mouth here?
She is.
I really feel like you'd have to build up Danny Luna. Like you got to do a lot of build to do that. I mean, you've got time between now and Rebellion.
Yeah.
But you really got to do some build, I feel, for that. Yes.
At this point, I don't see her dropping the title at least until Slammiversary.
That's actually not a bad shout because, I mean, that's their WrestleMania, and it's really everybody else that would be in that division. She's kind of not only beat, she's walked through.
Right. Like she's pinned Xia Li when Trinity's not there, but she's pinned Trinity. She just pinned Tasha Steelz. So like literally who is next?
Well, and you've got Rosemary, Jessica Havoc,
Yeah,
Masha, and Killer Kelly all tied up in the tag division. So
it's really, yeah, you got to pull Danny Luna away from and I always want to call her Ruby Riot, but
is that just because of the red hair?
I think it's because of the red hair. I literally think it's because of the red hair. Jody Threat, that's her name.
Yeah,
got to pull Danny Luna.
The long forgotten Canadian.
That main event was something else though. That deserved that This Is Awesome chant.
Well, so that does it for TNA Impact tonight. We are back at it tomorrow for Friday Night SmackDown, but we do take a reading for anything and everything when it comes to pro wrestling, especially tonight. So let us know, folks, what is your rating out of 10 for TNA tonight?
My rating personally, I'm going pretty high tonight.
As I was expecting you to give some strangers rating, like did you just ask some man off the street his rating? Go to your window, just yell out, "What is your rating for Impact?"
I'm going with an 8. I'm going with a solid 8 tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah, I said I was going pretty high. The wrestling was up there. The first match, the what is it? The Rebellion Redendum was great. The tag team match with the Time Splitters and JYV was great. The main event was insane. The only downer, and I love her so much, was Ash by Elegance because it wasn't a full match; it was just a squash match.
But that's kind of what she needed. Yeah.
True. That's kind of what she needed. So yeah, I'm sold on an 8 tonight.
You're sold on an 8.
Yeah.
Well, you do a 7 because that's where I'm at here.
I mean, a 7 is still not bad. It's better than a 6. I mean, because I felt like I
keep going down. What about a 5? Have you never been with a 5?
I felt like you were going the way.
Are we going NXT? I've never been with a 10, but I'm at a 4.
I honestly felt like you were going with the 6 tonight. I'm like,
I was gonna say I'll keep auctioning it down. Like I said, I've never been with a 10, but I'm at a 4. So you can keep going down if you want. No, I'll say a 7. I feel like just this week in wrestling has lived in that 7, 6.5, at most maybe 7.5 range of we all kind of are building towards WrestleMania weekend. It's once we all get towards like the first to second weekends in April, a lot of shit's going to be really paid off. And now it's all on how we get there. And there was nothing super bad about tonight. There was also nothing to me super great about tonight. So that's why I'll say a 7.
I mean, yeah, I can agree with there. I can definitely agree. It wasn't a lot of things great. I think my 8 is more coming off of how much I enjoyed the matches itself.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't let me sell you.
Yeah. But it looks like in the chat we got 7. By Bash, by Joe, we got 8. We got 7.5 by Damien. So it's kind of a mixed bag in that range of 7 and 8.
Right. Well, Jamie asking, was my boys ABC on there tonight? Well, one half of them were in the referendum there.
We had Chris Bay
to decide who's going to be the number 1 contender for the X division, which is now going to be Jake something versus Mustafa Ali at Rebellion.
Which, as much as I really wanted Kevin Knight, Jake something is a great second, I guess.
I'm still saying, I think it was Elimination Chambers out there in the chat that figured out the code. He's just out there for something Cody Rhodes. But Richard pointing out that Kozlov is not on the TNA roster page. Unbroken saying, no, we get a 5 because we missed a good question. All right, well, we got the super chats, the super stickers. You can always repeat the question. But last thoughts, final thoughts, last comments here before we pack it in on this lovely thirsty Thursday evening. We'll wait for the chat, but any final thoughts, sir? Anything you felt like you wanted to talk about in pro wrestling tonight?
Yeah, real quick. I want to talk about how Goldberg on Twitter.
Oh, and he just had this Japanese woman beat my streak, and everyone started doing the spear.
Yeah, let's talk about that before we get off, because someone pulled out one of his old tweets from 2017 and said that you were on Asuka's side and said the streak was in good hands. So now, obviously,
we thought we had the receipts. We got the receipts, motherfucker.
Right. So now in 2024, you have a problem with, as you called her, Azuka, beating your streak.
I didn't hear
Goldberg
him say
can go
that.
away. Goldberg can go away. He can go far, far away. I don't want to say what's really on my mind, but he can go far, far away.
Well, and this might be a hot topic, but I'll say this: if there's another person I think that can go away, that I think was never, again, much like Goldberg, never actually wanted to be involved in wrestling, just got involved in wrestling because they couldn't do it in another profession. One, I don't give a damn about my reputation.
Oh, yes, we could talk about that too.
Of just out here, we get you don't like Vince. No one's asking you to like Vince. No one, you already though have a very much established. You don't like pro wrestling. You don't like pro wrestling fans. It's amazing how many people, it seems, much like Goldberg, who Ryback ripped off, and Ronda, who I guess, Ryback, Ryan Reeves, there is just Ronda Rousey. So we're just all the R names also. But they all just need to how can I say things that'll just try and garner attention?
That's kind of how I feel, at least from Ronda Rousey's standpoint. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you will know that I cannot stand Ronda Rousey. But granted, her first run was very, very good. I enjoyed it.
No, well, what do you define as her first run? Because if it's that one match, that's it.
I'm defining her one match with Triple H all the way it was the mixed tag team match, all the way to her losing to Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Now the build towards WrestleMania was all focused on Becky because Becky was hot. But I feel like that first run was solid. I'm not gonna use the word good. I said that like five seconds ago, but it was very solid. I was into it. When she came back after she had the child, after she had her daughter, I think it was. I don't know what the hell that was. It was like she didn't care. And to say that the backstage is S, and it was at that point with Vince McMahon, she was handed a lot of opportunities. She
wrestled at Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia too. The fucking whole shit that she hated, but that's neither here nor there.
she came in, won the Royal Rumble, which a lot of people, and I think it was widely known that Sasha Banks was winning, and they were building up to Sasha and Charlotte at that year's WrestleMania. She came back, won that Royal Rumble, had a terrible match, a terrible match with Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, and nobody can convince me different. And then she dropped the title to Liv Morgan. She cashed it in. That was weird. That whole thing was weird with her and Liv Morgan. She won the title, then lost it again to Charlotte when she returned from her knee injury. All of that was just terrible. And it was. So I don't know, and I've been holding this in for a very long time. So I don't know what.
Go ahead.
I really don't know what that was. And for her to make those comments this week, I know we are outsiders looking in. We don't know what's behind the scenes, but what we saw on TV, you were handled a lot of things that should have went to other women. Period.
I don't think Ronda was worth a fuck, and excuse me for the expletive, but she past that match with her, Angle, Hunter, and Stephanie, that was it. Everything else was just a solid downhill. She sat there and had the whole public promo to where she just shat on wrestling fans. Even it's like, you realize these are the only people watching you right now, and you're just taking the piss out of them too.
Right.
I think
she
was never a person that was a fan of pro wrestling. She viewed it as, this is something that will still keep me in the limelight.
Exactly.
And with what she has to say, I'm not trying to diminish anything that may or may not have happened backstage, but for her to be the source on that, you're probably the last person who should talk about that.
No, absolutely. And I think if I know you've been keeping up with wrestling news, but at the same time, Becky Lynch, there's things that have been coming out about Becky Lynch's book, and she talked about where she beat Bianca Belair in those 20 seconds at SummerSlam, and how she wasn't a fan of that, and how she didn't like it and had no say. Things like that coming from somebody like Becky Lynch, I can believe, but coming from Ronda Rousey, no.
But you also still have same comments or adverse comments from like an AJ Styles and everything now that are coming out, even from a lot of the commentators. And that's the thing, is to me, is a lot of the people that aren't on the show prominently, that aren't top performers, that aren't $1 million contracts and everything, are saying this company is run entirely different. This focus is entirely different. You have AJ Styles even saying, I wish more people, more free agents would sign with WWE because we're in here for the long haul. Everything.
Exactly.
That's the thing, is a lot of this narrative is based off of somebody that you have other news outlets saying, well, they've thrown the towel on him. No fucking shit.
Right.
This man's already been done. Now we're moving in a different direction. I'm torn on, we do have to acknowledge what may or may not happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, that doesn't need to take away from what is happening.
Right. No, absolutely. And like you said about AJ Styles, one of the things that he said when he first got to WWE is, for years he's had heard these bad things about the locker room, about WWE, and when he got there, none of that was true. But again, like you said, we can't take away from what probably happened backstage. That's why I think I said earlier that I'm just focusing on what I seen on TV. I can't speak for what happened backstage, but what I seen on TV was absolutely garbage by Ronda Rousey. And I can agree with you when you said it was just a slow decline after that WrestleMania match with Triple H. I think it was a gradually slow decline, and then when she came back, it just tanked. It was just like those old WWE games when you're running and that momentum just goes. That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. So
had you know.
Those were my final thoughts. I did want to touch on the Goldberg and the Ronda Rousey.
No, that's fine. I was gonna say, anything else you want to talk about here, because I feel like I'm batting 1,000 here. So
oh no,
I feel like if I bring something else up here, I don't know if I'm
no, I'm good. I think the Ronda Rousey and the Goldberg. I think the Goldberg, I really literally read that before I jumped on live and read it and actually saw him say Azuka and how he was upset that she beat the streak. I totally forgot about Ronda Rousey. So when you mentioned that, I was like, let's talk about that too.
But I think it's one of those. I'll say this as politely because I know me personally right now, when it comes to the grand scheme of pro wrestling, I am an afterthought of an afterthought just currently. But I think these are a lot of people that wish that see right now how there's major motion pictures being made about pro wrestling. There's pro wrestling references at the Oscars, at the Emmys, at this, at that. That pro wrestling is all the way back up. And it's, well, how can I get some attention? I did the wrestling thing, right? Why isn't anyone paying attention to me?
No, that's it. That's it. That it's the me too. I was there too. I did some things in pro wrestling too. Yeah. And I know I saw one comment. This is the last thing I'm gonna say about Ronda Rousey. Somebody said that we wouldn't have had the first main event of WrestleMania without Ronda Rousey, and I totally disagree. I think we were already heading in that direction before Ronda Rousey got on the scene, and it was just Ronda Rousey's name value that made it to WrestleMania.
But but that's where I think that's. I will agree with that. That's probably the edge. And I will say this even with Goldberg. Goldberg would be in a different limelight if he just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. Just with some of these people, just shut the fuck up. And you either remain silent, let the world think you're an idiot, or you open your mouth and prove them right.
Right.
With some of these people. But not for nothing, as we've been out here talking, but do you have any final thoughts, sir? As I'm seeing if the chat's got any final things before we head out on this evening here.
I'm great. I don't have any final things.
Already. You guys should mail Eddie Kingston a sign of Wrestling for Life hat. What? I would expect a spinning back fist if I did that. Yes, folks, that does it for another Thursday out here with TNA. We are back at it like a jackrabbit tomorrow night with Friday Night SmackDown. We've got Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns staring each other face to face here. Allegedly, no bloodline, no outside interference or anything like that, but nobody covers live pro wrestling like we do. Nobody gives you opinions, no personalities, anything like we do. Often imitated, never replicated, never duplicated. Be a friend, tell a friend. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Back at it like a jackrabbit. Anthony, hell of a night.
Yes.
Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you talk about that wrestling, put that for life with it. Peace.